finest tobaccos in the world go into Verno Havana cigars. The reason why we actually chose Tabacalera Palma as a strategic partnership is because they're vertically integrated. They produce some of the finest tobaccos in the world. Right here at a farm of Gurabo, we have Corojo and Criollo 98. Each of these plants has been individually transplanted from the nursery onto the field to ensure that only the strongest tobaccos actually survive. So there has been a selection process prior to this one to ensure that the best tobacco plants and the strongest tobacco plants actually get to be further treated. I definitely showed you this video because we wanted to show you the entire journey of making this super fine cigar called Baron of Havana. When the tobacco gets picked up from the farm, it ends up here in the curing bar. This is when the first step of the magic journey happens. The tobacco leaves are being kneaded and placed on the shelves for them to dry. The transformation of the tobacco basically gets reflected in the color and in the size. The color goes from this beautiful green natural to a light brown. The transformation of the flavors goes from raw and unfermented into a beautiful, flavorful tobacco that is then further processed into the factory. The magical journey of the tobacco processing continues here. In this room, the tobacco gets sorted into the binder, filler, and wrapper. Only the best tobaccos get the best onto another stage. This is also where the fermentation takes place. Fermentation as a process removes harshness, leaving a clean, refined tobacco taste. Tabacalera Palma is an expert in doing so because every single Verno Havana cigars burns clean, nice, and even. Process of fermentation is basically taking the leaves and flipping those that were at the bottom to be on the top. So that way, when the process is constantly repeated, each tobacco leaf achieves the optimal level of humidity and temperature. Fermentation is actually a multi-stage process that is closely monitored here at Tabacalera Palma. Every time the tobacco is being replaced, the date is actually input on a piece of paper to allow for the detailed tracking of the process itself. Once the process of fermentation has been completed and the tobacco has achieved an optimum balance of temperature and humidity, the tobacco gets placed in bells, where the process of aging begins. This process takes anywhere between 3 and 4 years. Once the process of aging has been completed, then the real magic happens. Right here, we have a cigar rolling. The cigar rolling is actually comprised of two parts. One is bunching, and the other one is the actual application of the wrapper onto the cigar. This is where the La Galera as well as Verno Havana are actually being produced. The skillful tostadores, some of the finest in the world, with their hands create blends and apply wrappers to make sure that each of the cigars, La Galera as well as the Verno Havana, burn evenly, consistently, and have even and consistent distribution of flavors throughout. Some of the finest in the world. Quality control is one of the major parts of the production of Verno Havana cigars. It is the quality control that ensures this kind of burn. Each cigar is meticulously inspected for the composition and the draw. Only those that pass the most rigorous quality control move on to the next stage. Once the cigars are rolled and thoroughly inspected, they end up in a room behind me. This, ladies and gentlemen, is like Fort Knox. This right here is pure, behind this door is pure gold. In this room, in this chamber called aging room, is where the cigars basically get sorted between some of the finest and average ones. This is where the weight needs to take place. The weight in the cigar, aging of the cigar, is irreplaceable process for the cigar to be some of the finest in the world and to be exactly like the one I'm smoking. Even after the cigars are cautiously and carefully blended, meticulously inspected, and then thoroughly aged, they undergo through one last quality control verification process, and that process happens in this chamber. Once the cigars are inspected one last time, then the bands are applied. Cigars are then placed in a biodegradable and earth-friendly cellophane and are then boxed and prepared for the final shipping. As you can see, my dear friends, the journey is long, but it's well worth it, because at the end, what we get is a piece of art, which is called Burn of Havana cigar. Tabacalera Palma, in this state-of-the-art factory behind me, as well as in tobacco fields, produces some of the finest handcrafted premium cigars that money can buy. Over 7 million cigars are produced annually, and the quality of all of them that leave this factory to you is at the highest possible level. I hope you enjoyed this video.